Tasha returns, Tariq wants out, and one death we knew was coming, and another I didn't expect. What's good, y'all? It's your good sis Erica Vane coming to you again right here on Erica Vane TV with another Power Book 2 Ghost video. In this video, I am breaking down the season finale, episode 10, Love and War. And this one is going to be a good one. If you're new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, turn on your bell notification so that you don't miss out on any of my Power Book 2 videos. I do still have a few others coming, even though we have reached the end of the season. With this finale, we've gotten even more questions, even though we've gotten a few answers. And I will be exploring those in videos to come. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this breakdown of episode 10. So, Monet's the first one to say that we gotta kill Lorenzo, but MECCA is the one to come up with the idea that Kane is the one who probably needs to kill Lorenzo. I mean, he wouldn't see that coming, right? Sounds familiar? However, Monet was born at night, not last night, and this isn't something that she's just gonna let fly, even though she plays along with it for a good portion of the first half of the episode. Tariq starts the episode off worrying about Lauren before court, waking up to Effie in bed, who is holding this lie down about him not needing to worry about Lauren and explaining how he should trust that she made it out of town safely. Before court, Davis tells Tariq that Trace is the latest witness that they will see take the stand, and Tariq has no choice but to reveal how Trace fits in with all of this, further implicating Kane, but not himself, because at that time that Kane took the Weston boys on their little adventure through the criminal activities in the hood, Tariq was being drugged and recorded by Snitch Riley, aka Saxe's niece. Y'all remember her? Davis says that they may need to put her on the stand, which Saxe fights adamantly. Back to MECCA, he spends a good portion of the episode vouching for Monet, which sucks given his fate, but the major call out in this moment between him and Zeke early on in the episode is when MECCA confirms that Zeke can trust Monet. Trust, y'all. He can trust Monet. He reveals that her unconditional love is a sure bet, just not one that he could bet on. Monet tells Kane to kill Lorenzo by the orders of MECCA, playing on his heartstrings to convince him to go at Lorenzo, and regardless of how grimy he has been, the snake stuff he has done to get back into the family or to be put in a position of power, even Kane can't seem to just be okay with shooting his father. The ace in the hole for Monet is telling Kane that Tariq killed his father, which is the sole thing that convinces him to do it. Season 3, I'm gonna need Kane to get off of Tariq's you know what, because his jealousy and insecurity gonna get him killed. And in this episode, it proved why people see and treat him the way that they do. The entire Tejada family was in on the plan, and Kane was simply used as a pawn, not trusted with all the information, because the best thing that he could do for them to make the mission a success was to not involve him in any of the critical thinking of the plan. But a little bit more on that later. Brayden held it down on the stand 2-bit style, completely torpedoing Jenny Sullivan's case with his admission that he is the actual drug dealer on campus, out in course correct, and taking a bulk of the weight of the criminal enterprise developing on campus. Tariq confronts Davis after the trial, putting 2 and 2 together about Davis's motives and knowing about the badge, talking about he out the game after he gets his sister back, and this is all with the plan that he gets the $2 million from MECCA. After shutting Saxe down after the trial is dismissed, Jenny finds Saxe at his favorite spot and tells him how Lauren is dead. She says that she was killed in a car accident outside the city driving a plateless car with a bag of cash. During that convo and trying to put Jenny's mind at ease, Saxe reveals how he planted evidence against Ghost and how he grabbed a gun after he got caught and went after him, but Ghost was killed before he could act on his plan. In the moment, he implores her to walk away and focus on her career because he's been the person obsessed with chasing a St. Patrick, and he ain't wrong. Walking away means becoming an accomplice to Jenny, and that repositions everything for Saxe. Monet's respect for Tariq really shows in this episode. Not only does she build a plan that is hinged on his involvement, but she also puts the weight of getting Kane to do exactly what they need him to do on Tariq's shoulders as well. And she agrees to let him walk away from the game in exchange for it all. Tariq thinks he can trust Effie and Brayden, and things are going to hit the fan when he finds out how they betrayed him with this Lauren kill. Does the ends really justify the means? Yeah, we back at the whole theme of the entire season. Tariq tells Kane that he don't have a choice but to kill Lorenzo, just like he didn't have a choice in killing Ghost, and that is the most dishonest moment Tariq has in the whole episode. As the season progressed, we have seen Tariq lie less and less, but in this moment he lies and isn't fully aware of how deep his lie is for his part as well. We're going to deep dive into what's next for Tariq St. Patrick in season 3 and what his character arc is potentially going to look like, as he has come to find grounding in trusting Effie, trusting Brayden, lying a little bit less to everybody around him, and now not attached to anything, any family that could potentially pull at his heartstrings and try to pull him into doing the right thing. Hit the subscribe button, turn on your bell notification so that you don't miss that video when I drop what's next for Tariq St. Patrick in season 3. Throughout this episode, Zeke is still reeling from Carrie's death, which brings him into the police precinct to see Detective Whitman, who's assigned to Carrie's suicide. It looks like he wants to say something initially and get it off his chest, but he ultimately says nothing. Later on in the episode, Detective Whitman pulls him back in, showing him traffic cam footage of Monet near Carrie's apartment around the time of the murder. Instead of outing Monet and communicating his suspicions, Zeke makes a choice to trust her, to let it go, and to provide a potential alibi in saying that she was on her way to come and get him, but he decided to go to Carrie's house instead. It's sad that Monet will never know that Zeke actually forgave her, and this is how he did it. In this episode, it's small, but it's solid, and it's the seed for Tate's spinoff, because we see him deliver the final blow to Sweeney and get the official endorsement and party push. Power Book 5 Influence is coming, and I'm going to go ahead and make the prediction right now that it's going to be coming after season 3 of Power Book 2 goes. So we got Rashad Tate a little bit longer up at Stansfield. I think Monet's biggest mistake in this episode was deciding that Zeke needed space and leaving him completely out of any plans. She, just like with what happened with Detective Ramirez and his PBA card and her never taking the PBA card back from Zeke, she kind of forgets about him. And when he's going through his day trying to figure out how he feels about his feelings about Carrie, her death, what part Monet played in it all, and what is he going to do next? Is he going to get on this plane and go away with his family, or is he going to go off on his own? What exactly is he going to do? Monet actually tells MECCA that Zeke actually needs some time, and if they leave, he will follow, not necessarily thinking that she has to be worried about Zeke and his mindset. When Zeke decides to change course and go with them, he ends up back at the hangar to ultimately meet his end by an unsuspecting killer, Lorenzo Tejada, who mistakes Zeke for MECCA. How, bro? You know you done messed up now, right, Lorenzo? But back to the other parts of the story. Saxe ambushes Tariq's meeting with Daniel when he learns about Lauren's death after getting the good news that he was able to stop Yaz's adoption. This provides Saxe with the clarity that, oh, Tariq ain't do it, but also gives Tariq enough grief and passion to start to question everything and everyone around him in reference to how Lauren became unalived. This episode is full of confrontations. Saxe tells Davis that Lauren is dead, and in the process puts the blood of her and Carrie on his hands. Davis, though, pushes him to remember how he doesn't get to be sanctimonious because they are literally the same person and just trying to survive. He knows how he planted evidence on James St. Patrick. Before Davis exits, he asks Saxe about the Theo Rollins case, which Saxe believes is a clear he ain't do it, with the actual person who committed the manslaughter being 4 inches taller than Theo. That's gonna make for a really good storyline season 3. In this episode, we also get the return of Tasha in a way that nobody could have guessed. We catch up with her at her safe house as danger seems to be approaching, when in fact it's Tameika bringing Yaz to join her. They have now gotten Yaz a whole new name, a whole new profile, and she gets to join Tasha in witness protection. And just off in one of the Suburbans is Tariq watching on as Yaz makes it to safety with their mother. We get a little beat between Tasha and Tameika, where Tasha reminds Tameika not to underestimate Tariq. And I think that this is just a seed for the next return, which we might not actually get in season 3. I would probably say will come in season 4, because season 3 looks like it's shaping up to be a moment where Tariq is literally out on his own, figuring out that he really cannot trust anyone more than he can rely on himself, and how he's going to make it in this world, and what man is he going to be, because you know he's still very much so preoccupied with not being his father, even though he's basically his father. Effie has a moment later on in the episode where she reassures Tariq that he's not alone and Lauren's death is not his fault. And honestly, just because he tried to stop her inevitable fate doesn't mean that he ain't right about the fact that she would be alive if she never met Tariq. All she wanted was straight A's and a good boyfriend, right? But she got Tariq, almost a bullet, in a random car accident. Back to the gas drop off. We get more context on Dante's Spears with Tariq and Saxe in the car. Saxe says without Dante, the Eastern District would never have mounted an investigation against his father, and who knows what would have happened between Angela and him. Now, while I think it's interesting to think about, I think that Angela would have still walked into truth. I think that Jamie would still be enamored with her, and maybe she wouldn't be investigating him and all of the drug stuff when it come out. But I think the cheating, the affair, and all of that would have. But I would love to know what y'all think in the comment section down below. It's watching the conversation with Drew and Tariq as Tariq lays out the plan that I'm reminded that these are just kids. There is something about Drew that while I know he's deadly, he also feels innocent, kind, with a very soft and safe soul. Tariq lets Drew know that he knows about Diana and him robbing him, but he don't care about that. He's focused on the plan and making sure that they execute it flawlessly. You see, Tariq telling a whole lot of truth at the end of this season. Drew asks Diana not to look in the bag, but her nosy behind is going to do it because that's just Diana. And I think that she's going to be in for it next season because everyone knows that she was going to look in this bag because that's who she is. This totally destroys her plausible deniability, putting her in a position potentially that she doesn't want to be in. Ultimately, it's her not following orders here that gives her info that she passes on to Lorenzo that sends him in a blind rage of revenge or protection or both to the hangar where he shoots and kills Zeke before he can get on the plane. Honestly, the issue isn't that Diana told Lorenzo, it's that she seems to think that there's some real power in snooping and finding out information people don't want you to know. While sometimes it works out, more often than not, it puts a target on your back that I'm not 100% sure Diana is ready for. And when she is more out in the world and is doing it with people who aren't her family, it could mean a bullet and not, oh, my family's just so mad at me. There's a brief moment in this episode where Kane pitches to MECCA to have them just kill Tariq instead of Lorenzo. And that's our clue that Kane ain't on Tariq's team just yet, even though they are working together in this episode. And honestly, his jealousy might mean that he never gets to common ground or solid ground with Tariq, which is unfortunate for him because he's probably one of the very few people who could benefit from Tariq being in his life. As the plan gets to action toward the end of the episode, we start to see it working. Tariq stops Kane at the perfect moment before he can pull the trigger on Lorenzo, relieving him of the duty of having to kill his own dad. Lorenzo, Kane, and Tariq take out MECCA's men at the fake re-up. Kane swoops in at the perfect time to save Drew from Carlito and his goon from killing him over at Stansfield. How Drew walked into that haymaker, I do not know, but he made it out of that one with the BS case in his trunk for Lorenzo to deal with later. Monet is the one to pull the trigger on MECCA in the penthouse as he figures out what's going on and plans to shoot Tariq the moment he got off the elevator with the bag. Monet handles him before this as Lorenzo was handling Zeke at the hangar. MECCA turned out to be Blanca's CI. Now she's back on Tariq's scent, and this will partially launch us into season 3. Saxe has agreed to be the inside man for Jenny Sullivan, and in a moment's notice, the crew dedicated to bring down Tariq is forming and mounting against him. Season 3 will certainly be a wild ride. Episode 10 was action-packed, drama-filled, and as Courtney Kemp promised, we got a really happy moment, but we also got a kind of sad moment. I called it. I knew that Zeke was going to die. I knew that his story was up. However, I didn't actually think that they were going to make the move and remove MECCA from this series this soon. I'm low-key disappointed because I kind of wanted him to be able to come and terrorize again in season 3, but the story made sense. After watching, y'all let me know what y'all thought about the episode. What are some of your predictions and thoughts and theories for season 3? What was your favorite moment from this season? And anything else that you want to share, write down in the comment section below. If you're new and you made it all the way to the end of this video, please hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications because this is not it for the Power Book 2 videos right here on my channel, as well as we're starting up breaking down Power Book 4 Force, and I don't want you to miss it. So make sure that bell notification is on so that you don't miss an upload from your girl Erica. Now I'm about to get into these comments so that I can reply to each and every one of you that drops a comment on this video, but don't go nowhere. You can watch the Did Effie Smash Kane video by clicking this video right here, or jump into my full season breakdown review right here. I'll see you in the next one.